Good afternoon, this is Simon from Prestige Garden Services, and we're currently on site completing a garden makeover design. Now in the property behind me, as you can see, we've had a deck put down, we've had some new lawn put down, and we've had some sleepers put down, and we're currently at the final stages in respect to the guys at the back, as you can see, putting down the actual paving. Paving is obviously the final touches of this particular property, and there's a couple of interesting particular points to consider when you're doing paving, which I'm going to take you around now, switching the camera around and taking you over to Andy and Graham, my builders, that are currently working quite hard. Now at the back of this property we've had a couple of particular issues, and that was one of the slope, so effectively the drainage issue, and that's obviously the levels in regards to the hardcore, as you can see, the depth, and obviously working effectively to what we've got. Behind me we've got a brick wall, and it's a garage wall, and it effectively doesn't fit flush. It's not square, it's almost like on a particular angle, which the fence then takes off on that angle and takes up on a kind of like a bend to the left hand side. So working with levels is very, very important. Now we've obviously purchased some quality wonderful stone here, and you can see these rings actually in the stone as you see here, and this actually really kind of like excites me, as I was over in a stone yard the other week and I kind of understand these rings within this stone, which is obviously sandstone. This stone has actually been tumbled. Tumbled effectively is a way in which the stone is obviously cut through rock, and then many of them are actually put into almost like a big washing machine and rotate, and you get this finish which is kind of like knocked against each other. It's tumbled rather than effectively driven, which is when someone takes a piece of tooling and splits the stone and opens it up, so you get a very interesting finish. And this is obviously identified here, which is some incredible rings, and this tells me that over years and years, thousands of years, different types of levels of stone, sand, different rocks, effectively different materials have forced and pressurized and initially sat on top of each other, and the sediments have settled and lowered and created a stone. And obviously these are the different lines that you get obviously within a stone. Coincidentally, with wood you get these rings as well, and you can obviously identify those on a circular piece of wood, where you see these light colours and then these dark colours, and the light colours between, let's say if that was on a piece of wood, the light colour in between and the dark colour, this is effectively the growing period between the summer periods, and the winter periods are the darker periods. So when you see next time you see a piece of wood and you can see the rings in it, you can see the dark period is effectively the winter period, where it's grown very little, but the summer period is expands and grows. So you'll see that more probably on fir trees or pine, things that are used on decking, which is obviously pliable, softer wood. We're not on wood today, we're on stone, so let's get back to it. There you go. Took a little bit of a diversion there. So with the stone, we've obviously got things like rocks and sand. And sand is very important when we're putting down obviously the top surface, but clearly we've got to have a very good substructure in regards to what we're laying the stone on. Once we've got the hardcore down, if I can take you over here actually where Graham is at the moment, the hardcore would have been under this particular level, and at the moment he's working with sand, and then we've laid obviously the paving area quite simply across this particular stretch, just so we can understand that we've got the right amount of materials, the right amount of stone, and get it in place. Cut them accordingly, get it in place, and leaving a few, a couple of millimeters gap, maybe get my finger down there, little finger in there, so that we can actually then complete the actual grouting, which is the final stages. Now Andrew in the background again is just levelling and putting down some of the hardcore, and you can see the discoloration here at the moment. I'm not going to touch this with my beautifully manicured hands. Graham's more hardy than I am, but clearly when you're working with sand and cement and you're working with your hands, it's always good to wear gloves, Graham. But this man's quite hardy, and he's probably been using this for quite some time. Sometimes the lime, I think, in the cement can burn your finger, so be mindful of that in respect to health and safety. This man's been doing it for many years, so I think his hands are immune. So on the final stages here, it's been placed down. He's mixed sand and cement in there, so as the moisture is quite damp at the moment, it's not dry fine sand, it will automatically set. So obviously on this particular paving area, which is very high quality stone, which was taken, we're taking it up, levelling it, placing it. You can see him lifting it at the moment. We'll be cutting that, placing it down in that position here. nice and gently, and making sure it fits quite nicely. You can see there there's just a little bit of leveling to do, so that'll come back up again and more sand will go down on that, so we can obviously get the levels correct. In addition to that, which you can't really pick up from the camera, or maybe you can, is that we've obviously had a string line placed down, which you can see has been here, it's been used in the past, and that little fella here is very key. And this piece of equipment gets put at one side of the garden and the other, and creates a taut line. So clearly we can see effectively a fault, which is where the drainage and the water will run. So we don't get any situations where we're getting significant amount of water causing obviously that of drainage. So these guys are in the final stages now, and you can see some of the pointing that's been completed already in and around the areas, and you've pretty much got to wait 24 hours for the actual stone to set before you start doing the cementing. So these guys are working at the top now, completing this, and at the top of here is going to go a nice shed. You can see the mallet being used there, just getting it down the level and a nice clean finish. So at the end here, just behind where Andrew is, the actual finishing of the stone will complete to the end of the border, and then from the right hand side we're just going to be using quality golden grains gravel in here to finish this off, not before putting down a membrane here along the soil, which will lead into the gates and around these actual troughs. So there you go, nice interesting information there on a Monday. We've got a couple of builds on today, so hopefully I'll be doing live and another build. But it's good to see when you get to a situation where you can start to see the vision of a garden which was 3 or 4 weeks ago was an absolute mess in here. And now we've got a nice deck area for entertaining, lovely apple tree in the corner here, cut it out, it's going to open up that beautifully. A lovely deck area for entertainment, steps coming out from the back windows here, lovely lush new grass that's knitting together quite well. You can see this was put down a week ago already. It started to knit very well and take quite well. I know that because I can see the length of the grass, and also we've got some mushrooms coming through. There you go, mushroom, interesting. That's the flower of algae, believe it or not. We're not going to go into a horticultural lesson now. Oh no, we're not. We're just going to finish off here and get these boys on track. Hopefully by the end of the evening this will all be completed, and I can hand the keys back over to the client and say thanks very much, job's done. There you go, Simon, on a Monday with the boys in the background completing the stonework on this property. Should you need any further information from Simon at Prestige Garden Services, whether it's turfing, lawn maintenance, stonework, paving,